as women, we got everything and we have to look inside. And this is the beauty of it. If you can get connected to your intuition, if you can get into your gut feeling, you will know. And trust me, you will know.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's
yeah,
difficult. We
yeah,
are so on
absolutely.
the outside. We are so distracted. We are so used to get information from the outside.
Yeah.
So we will forget about our inside and that everything is inside of us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ignition Path podcast. My name is Kyle Goodknight. I am your host, and I appreciate you coming and listening to all of the content that I create and bringing these amazing people to you to hear about their entrepreneurial path and what jobs they do now or what businesses they have created. This is a place where we can share and talk about our paths to becoming an entrepreneur. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you hear a message in here that someone else that you know needs to hear this message, please don't be shy and just hit that share button and ship it right off to them. So today I have Blanka Falk today with me. She is a coach and a small business owner that she's created an amazing course for motherhood, and she's going to tell you all about it. But for now, Blanka, go ahead and tell us who you are and the German pronunciation of your last name, of course, because I said it the way I would say it as an American, Falk. But as we discussed in our pre-call, go ahead and tell us who you are and how you pronounce your name in your language, and then we'll go on and get the show on the road.
Oh, thank you, Kyle. Thank you so much. Yes, my name is Blanka Falk. I'm from Germany and I'm a mental trainer for mothers. So I'm an author, I'm a podcaster, and I'm a mother of 4. And this is the root cause why I do what I do.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit more about your path. You know, the Ignition Path podcast is all about all of our entrepreneurs that come on, including myself. I've told people my story and how I've become a podcasting coach and a voiceover coach and a voiceover actor, but I'm a full-time paramedic. So that's my path. Was I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and now I do things on the side that help other business owners, basically present their message to the world through podcasting. So tell us about your path. What did you do before you became this mental mother coach, or however you said it? I like that. Wait. So sometimes we come up with new phrases during my podcast just because of my fumble mouth. So a mental mother coach. There you go. You can MMC. There you go. That's free. You can have that. Use that for your marketing. Yeah. Yo, what are you? Well, I'm an MMC coach. What is that? A mental mother coach. No.
Cool. Well, yeah, actually, I was a tax consultant before.
Okay.
So I was doing all the stuff, accounting and consulting and everything with taxes.
Tax consultant. Okay, I thought you said
Yeah,
text, like
yeah,
tech.
I know. I
Yeah.
pronounce it different.
Oh, I mean, the way you pronounce it, it could have been tech consultant, like
Mhm.
technology, or
No,
tax. So you're so
like
but
laws.
yeah. So did you do taxes for people? Were you a true accountant, like a CPA,
Yeah,
what they call them here? Okay.
yeah, I
Now
was.
that's something you could totally do just once a year. You still do that or no?
No, I
Oh,
didn't do
wow.
because I was, yeah, so pregnant with my first baby. I,
Okay.
I wanted to do the career there and I wanted to follow this. And I thought, okay, I like to go international and had my thoughts
Okay.
around this. And then at the same time, I wanted to have family and
Hmm.
got pregnant, got my first baby. And I thought, no problem at all. I can do both, but I
Okay.
couldn't.
Right.
So,
Yeah. 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 I mean, I've got 2 children myself that are both we're essentially empty nesters. My daughter's in college, and my son is post college and in his career. He still lives with us, but he has freedom to do whatever he wants. So we don't. It's not like we keep tabs on him. So he lives with us for economical reasons for him, until he gets some money saved up. But for the most part, we're empty nesters. We're not held back by making sure that we have to take the kids to hockey or cheerleading or all the stuff that we did with our kids. But so tell me more about when you made the transition from being a tax consultant and into this new business. Tell me about that process, that path. Like
yes,
when
the
was the
process
day that
was,
you were like, I'm done?
no, the process was really because of motherhood. I had to figure out something else. So, but the first time when I became a mother, there was no way to do anything except for motherhood. So
Correct.
for me, it was this way. But this was good because I could find what's my path in life. And my path in life was actually to help other mothers. For this, I had to learn. And I was learning 4 times with 4 children.
Each
So,
one got a little easier, didn't it? Or did you have a problem child in the middle?
well, no, they are now between 9 and 19. So
Okay.
there is a
Okay.
range between.
Yeah.
And yes, so I really dove,
Dove.
dove,
Yeah. Sure.
yeah, into this, and was really figuring out so many things. And the first thing was really the transition from not being a mother to become a mother. And this transition is the help for others. For me, that I would say it's a mental training for mothers, because biology just makes you a mother if you give birth to a child.
Mm,
On the inner side, no one is talking about, but there is a transition. There is
yeah.
a transformation inside of you.
Absolutely.
And
My
this
wife
part,
is my wife is a totally different person after kids. Not in a
right?
bad way.
No?
No, but it's like her sleep patterns are different.
Mhm.
Her temperament is different.
Yeah.
Just she and I put such an important role on us as parents. I wouldn't say I lost friends during the raising of our kids, but I had friends stop calling me because I kept on telling them, nope, sorry, I got to do this with the kids, or nope, I can't come, I can't, and that's good and bad. Now my wife is out there doing her friends weekends, where I still sprinkled in my friends weekends as I raised my kids. But it was always because I just knew I had a hell of a mom, a hell of a mother at home taking care of my kids, because I don't know if she knows this, but I married her because she was so great with kids. And there is a transformation. So talk a little bit more about that. So, explain to people how you help people inside of that, because one thing we don't get, and that's, being in the medical field, I see all kinds of, I've delivered a baby, I've seen births, I've seen parents, I've seen the troubles of abused children come into the ER,
Mhm.
and it's like you don't get a playbook. You
No.
have to, like, adopting a dog sometimes is harder than having a baby for someone, and you don't get any training. You know what I mean? So I guess is it safe to say that you're basically built something around new mothers or existing mothers that are struggling with the transition they're feeling inside, and why it's happening, to help them through that process before
Yes,
or after
right.
the child?
Yes, right. That's it. Because you feel suddenly you get this huge responsibility for a new baby, for a new human being, and can just feel overwhelming. And there are so many things that you have to let go from your past life to accept the new life, and this process is not easy at all. There are so many women I know that they just say, okay, let me get my past life back. I want this back. But it doesn't suit, because your sleeping rhythm is different. You have to take care. You have to learn new things. You have to make so many decisions around that you haven't thought about before. And you were only responsible for yourself, not for someone else. And now you have to be there 24/7. And there is no break. There is no, oh, let me take a time out. And you can't give it back. So
Right.
that's it. And this can just be very difficult to
Yeah.
let go, because you are so used with your past life that everything goes like you want it, and now it doesn't. The baby doesn't function like you want it to. It doesn't sleep when you want it. It doesn't,
Well, no,
all these
yeah, of
things.
course it is. The
You're
baby's just going to
always
fall into my
interrupted
pattern.
in your way.
Oh my gosh, it's so true. So how do you find people that you can service and give this support to?
Well, actually, the first time was that I wrote a book. So
Okay.
it's Help I Become a Mother. It's in German. So it's not Help I Become a Mother, but the translation is this.
Okay.
So it's Hilfe, ich werde Mutter. It's the German part. And so I thought I could reach out to people with the book But writing a book and becoming a bestseller, even if you write a good book, a good writer is not a bestseller. So there I had to make some adjustments with this, and I thought, okay, what can I do more to help mothers? Because just only give them a book and say, okay, here are some examples, here are my experiences, because I wrote down my experiences where I struggled with and how I solved it, just
Hmm.
to give them an inspiration and to encourage them to really go through this, because it's, like I said, it's not easy. And then I thought, okay, I have to do more. So actually, I was trying to figure out what can I do. So I offered a mental training for mothers. This I promoted with master classes. Yes, and you're right. I was going into groups, into breastfeeding groups.
Mm.
I was, yes, doing some readings with my book to reach out to people in this area. And yes, and one thing is my podcast. It's
Yeah.
called Renew Motherhood. It's also
Awesome.
so I go from different sides to get this topic and to go out with to say, hey, here is a helping hand, and if you want, you can reach out to me.
That's awesome. Now, with your book, are you going to translate it into English so you have it?
It
I
is,
mean, okay, good.
yes, it is already, but not published. So
Okay.
I have to figure out how to get this started.
Is that something you can put out easily with an ebook? Like you could, if we put a link in, they could get an e-copy of it somehow? Like
It's not ready for this. It's just
okay.
translated.
Okay, so what'll happen, everybody listening, is the German version. We'll have a link to that in the description when the English version becomes available. So if you're listening to this podcast on YouTube or Amazon or any of the places that you listen to your podcast on, the description notes has all of Blanka's contact information and the things that she wants for people to go find. If you don't see the English version, it's not translated yet. If you do see the English version, she has given it to me. So
Right.
one real quick thing, just a little backslide, and then I'll ask another question. So I know we're doing a podcast swap. I'm going to come on your podcast and talk
Yes.
about my experience watching my wife be a mother and whatnot. So you just said that you went into breastfeeding. So remember this. We're not going to go into this story now because this will be a promotion for your podcast. So if you want to hear this story, you need to come and listen to subscribe to Blanka's podcast too, and come and listen to our episode because she will ask me, what did you mean about you taught your wife how to breastfeed? There's a funny story behind it and how I did it, and it wasn't sexual or anything gross. It's funny. So come to Blanka's episode with me on it, and I will tell that story on that episode. Now you've got a teaser.
Awesome.
So the next question I have, Blanka, is so what would be a takeaway for you to tell if someone watching this, what would be a takeaway for them from what you offer and why it's different than just them going at it alone?
Can you repeat this? Because I can't get the core of it.
Sure.
What you want me.
So basically, something that you would tell a mother listening to this that is maybe struggling or doesn't realize that they're going to get ready to struggle if they're not pregnant yet or if they're in the middle of pregnancy. What is something that you would tell them that would make them want to reach out and hear what you have to say? So essentially a piece of advice about going after motherhood alone or going after motherhood with some coaching and some guidance.
Yes, because if you become a mother, your thoughts are running wild. Before, it might be that you get anxious because of the birth, because of what's happening after this, because of not knowing. There is no instruction how to handle a baby. So you have to figure out, and this can make you nervous. And yes, it's probably better to have someone at your side who went through all those things and can guide you through with your thoughts and with the practical tips. So it makes it easier, it makes it more comfortable, and you can get a better bonding to your baby. And that's what we all want. We want to have a deep relationship to our kids. Because if they grow up and come into puberty, there is another step, and you don't. But if you have got the bonding process from the beginning, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And I have got now 3 kids inside of this. I have no problems.
Yeah, puberty was and it's different for. Do you have boys and girls, or do you have all boys?
Absolutely.
Okay, so it's a whole nother thing when you have your first child, boy. Okay, great. Then you deal with all the stuff that you're doing with a boy. And then you have a girl and you realize it's totally different. Completely different. I mean, maybe the diaper changes are the same, maybe a little bit, but other than that, it's completely different as they grow up, and just the stuff that you have to create and things you have to learn with having a boy compared to having a girl, because I've got one of each and they're 3 years apart, so it was that good, nice little pause. Know that just because you learned how to raise the first child, the second child can be completely different, and you still may need more coaching inside of that second child until you get the tools and the things that you need. So tell us a little bit about what you teach, just if you don't mind, a little bit of a coaching session. What would you teach someone about because in the mental health field that I'm a part of as well with my first responder stuff, right now the big buzzword is self-care. Like, okay, don't forget about self-care. And that's one thing that I feel like my wife and I didn't do while we raised our kids. We put all of our time and effort into our children. And that's great. And we were happy with it. There was no animosity from that. There was no negativity from that. So what would you teach? Is there anything inside of your lessons that you teach a new mother self-care, so she does have that respite of and that break, and something that her spouse knows? So share a little bit about what you talk about that. You don't have to go into depth and give away all your secrets, but just the general concept of that.
Well, there are no secrets, and I don't like to have secrets around this, because if I can get it out, everything is good. So there is one thing I really would recommend, is to be grateful, and to remind yourself to be grateful every day. Start with this, and you can do this again whilst you are breastfeeding. Just watch your baby and just say some things. Why are you grateful? For what are you grateful? And this gratitude practice, just bring your thoughts in another position, and you can just follow another path with this. And it's wonderful because your baby is getting your emotions. And if you can fill this up with positivity, it will stay. And this is a wonderful part, I think, to get the bonding process and to get positivity inside of the family, and to raise your energy up. And another thing is really self-care is important. I didn't do this like you did. I didn't do this with the first one. And we both, my husband and I, we were both full-time parents, nothing else, always late. Nothing. Just, okay, when we said, okay, we come at 3:00, no, we were there at 6:00 and still busy with one child. So,
I can't imagine with 4.
but we didn't miss anything. I know that there were voices coming and saying, okay, but you have to look at yourself. And it was okay for us.
You just said,
It
"Get away,
just was
boys."
okay. We didn't, there was nothing missing. And with the second one, there was a little, okay, challenge now. How can we deal with this?
Yeah.
And if it gets more, well, actually, my husband was telling me, you need more children. I thought, what? Can't handle it. But he was right. So actually, yes, we got 4, and it is okay. And the challenge was really to find the point when it's dropping. And if you feel, okay, I have to look after myself first here, because if I just give, there is nothing more in the evening or whenever. So take 10 minutes. Take 10 minutes every day to do some meditation, to read a book just for you, to listen to some music, just you. And these 10 minutes per day, you can add this wherever you want to have it. You can handle, you can say, okay, I do this in the morning after waking up, or you can say, okay, no, it doesn't suit. I take this as a break in the middle of the day. Just take this time for yourself. And because this is important,
Yeah.
you not fall
Great.
down.
Well, great. Thank you so much for that takeaway, because I always like to make sure that we offer some sort of value to people when they're listening, inside of what my guests offer. So when you were talking a little bit there, it brought up another question. So I hope you don't mind if I ask another question. When it comes to your spouse, I was a dedicated father. I did the same. We focused a lot. We did pass the baby. We both worked at the hospital back then when they were little, and we would literally pass the baby in the hallway after our shifts, because we would work opposite shifts, so someone could always be home with the baby. We never had a babysitter, and once in a blue moon, my in-laws would watch them, which they lived 10 minutes away. So my mom had been gone. My mom passed away a few months before my son was born. So like 9 months before my son was born, my mom passed away. So my mom never got to meet my kids, and my wife never get to have the conversations with my mom about motherhood. Now, and her mom, that's just not what they do, and that's actually a second question I want to ask after this. So let's go back to that when it comes to moms and your mom and whatnot, and why can't we just learn off of what my mom tells me? So, and I want to get into that a little bit, but first answer the question about what you and your spouse did to stay connected during that time.
It was kind of, we do this together, And so if I was breastfeeding, he was just holding me, he was just there with me, and we did everything together.
Yeah.
That's why we didn't have time for anything else.
We had time to make 3 more babies. Come on now. No, just kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
But
but this is it was just, if there was nothing, if there is a deeper connection to your spouse, if you have got another level, not just because you have got the same hobby, or you have got, I don't know, why people are together, why people get married.
Yeah.
There are so many who get divorced, and I'm always wondering, okay, why? But you were just asking about the connection, or the how.
Yeah,
how
that was there was a connection.
Well,
The
the main
spouse
part
connection.
is, I think, and you mentioned it too, it's the communication, right?
Yeah, that's
So
right.
if
Yeah.
you get the right communication, and if you can talk about what are you expecting, what am I expecting, where is the middle, how can we deal with it, everything is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you always find a way if you want.
Yeah.
If you want.
And it's support, to just finish up on that, when I'm willing to go do something, and she doesn't have to tell me what to do. Don't get me wrong. She was raising 2 children, honestly. I mean, even I was 28 when I had my first child, and unfortunately my wife got stuck with raising 2 children, a 28-year-old and a newborn. So, so there's some honesty in that. We were still growing as a couple, because we had our baby in the first year. We conceived in the first year. We didn't have the baby until our second year of marriage. We had dated for 6 years prior to that, but we never lived together. So it was one of those things where, there was things that I had to learn about her, that she had to learn about me, that she had to, get me into the right mindset of being a husband, things that were, I knew things from watching my parents, and she knew things from watching her parents. And it was just one of those things where there's a whole nother learning curve with marriage, let alone with a new baby involved. So, so that kind of leads to, and the family dynamic that we just spoke about, that leads to my last question here is, what would you say to someone that may think, well, why do I need, a mental mother coach when I've got my mom? My mom was a great mom, and I'll just ask her questions. Or worse, like maybe you didn't think your mom raised you the right way, and you want to ignore her, but then your mom wants to be a part of the baby. And, so what would you say to your students that have either a strong bond with their mother or a not so good bond with their mother, and why you need that third party?
Yes, well, I would always say each way is individual. So if this is your way to go, to do the same things that your mom did with you, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay. So, and if you can learn from her, it's great. But if you say, okay, she did something I don't like, and there is something missing, or I would love to make a change here, or she isn't aware what she did and she can't tell you. She knows what she did. Well,
There is that.
she
Yep.
did it, but unconsciously, so you can't learn from her
Mm-hmm.
because you're not observing her having her baby. You're now adult, and you can just listen to her what she's speaking. And actually, if I asked my mom, she forgot a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah. There's that. Yeah.
So I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
where do I get this information now?
Very cool.
Here's
Very
the
cool.
thing. We always think we need some information from the outside. But
Yeah.
as women, we have got everything. And we have to look inside. And this is the beauty of it. If you can get connected to your intuition, if you can get into your gut feeling, you will know. And trust me, you will know.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's
yeah,
difficult. We
yeah,
are so on
absolutely.
the outside. We are so distracted. We are so used to get information from the outside.
Yeah.
So we will forget about our inside and that everything is inside of us.
Yeah. Great. And you help them find that and bring that to light. That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's great. It's a great service. It's a great concept. You know, there needs to be more people like you. There's plenty of mothers out there that need this help, that need that support. Well, now that brings us to the end of our show, Blanka. I thank you so much for coming on. The last thing I want to ask is just how do people get a hold of you? Tell me, I know all the information will be down in the description, but just go ahead and share, verbally if people are only listening to this on the audio version so they hear where to find you and to get connected with you.
Yes, well, there will be masterclasses still, and I will run them, I think, once a month. And and they are promoted on my social medias, on Instagram. I've got the Renew Motherhood is the title of my podcast and the title of my Instagram account. So you can find me on LinkedIn with my name, Blanka Falk, and on Facebook too, and reach out to me.
Thanks so much, Blanka, so much for coming on the Ignition Path podcast and sharing your story and sharing some takeaways with our audience that are definitely well needed. And there's so much more I know that are inside of there. And I can't wait to be on your podcast. And like I said, come to her podcast. Come to her podcast if you want to laugh about a story. So I've got a good one. Yeah, it's a good one. So, all right, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. If you hear this and you have a mother in your life that needs to hear this and needs to know about Blanka and her services, don't hesitate to hit that share button and push it right to them. So thank you so much, Blanka, for coming on. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Ignition Path, fueling the entrepreneurial fire.